8:10. Roll call. Jeff, myself, in the committee. If we can get a tentative, everyone else, superintendent, Sue. All right. Approval of the agenda. Motion for approval of the agenda?
Sure. Motion for the agenda.
Second? I guess I said.
Do we have enough people?
Second.
All
All in
those
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then we'll do the approval of the minutes. Let's make a motion for approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Is Ed on your committee too? Yes. I just thought of it. Oh, he is.
Sorry. Public participation. Is there anyone on the public forum, Josh? Negative. Negative. Get that step. Discussion next steps. Technology. Ally, you'll be doing our technology tonight?
I am.
Excellent.
So,
That was your tech update.
like with any school, we have lots of technology, especially during the first couple of days. Lots of new technology as well. So it's been, I think, a great start to the year. Wanted to give you some updates on our protection plan. Share it with you. Share it, right, I guess. So these are the results we currently have on our protection plan, how many takers, and some people that we're still waiting on replies. Note that grades 6 through 12 are the kiddos that take home their device. In grades K through 5, they do not. We sent out these forms through a brand new platform that we're using, Parent Square, and we are, I think, we have really good success with Parent Square in getting the signatures back and in getting the parents to understand what the agreement means. So one thing that's happening, we are actively looking to get more parents online. We've had a really good success rate, but we're using the welcome back nights, like middle school, high school is tomorrow night, and then the elementary schools on 28th, I believe. So we're using those to, we'll have a couple of texts myself stationed to get everybody signed up. With that, we're able to see who's able to receive our messages. And as we're using more, we're only really, this is week 3 at this point. I think we're getting really good response for that. So you'll have an update about these numbers in the October meeting, and but then we're hoping to have more and more kiddos, parents specifically signed up. Let me show. Can I merge the social media update? It kind of goes
Sure.
one and one. Let's show you other thing. Great. So we've been really taking off on Facebook the last couple of, I have a happy face on Facebook, people like it. And for example, we have just the past 28 days, we have really reached an all-time high in number of posts that we've had, with almost 4,700, which is quite incredible over months or years past. And right now, only thing you see up there is Instagram and Facebook. So for example, the last highlight that we had was this post over here at, where was that, Torrington? Yeah. It reached 1,500 people. So we know that people are looking, but I think right now they're only looking at one place with it. So what do we do to really cater to everybody? So we are, we're starting to use Parent Square, as well as, and we have statistics within as well. We can see how many people react in Parent Square as well. So for Parent Square, it'll be all our official communication, forms to send home, but then when it comes to social media, we really we're looking for a uniform way across the entire district to cater to everybody, no matter what preference of social media platform you have. So moving forward, starting next month, we will essentially broadcast the same message across Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and Parent Square. And it'll have the same look and feel across the district as well as all buildings. And there is this whole analytics platform, which we can then pull together and see, okay, what do people prefer?
Where do you get the most feedback, the most responses, right? Is that what you're gonna
Most
ultimately look
views,
for?
most
Yep,
views,
okay.
and then
Most hits.
within Parent Square, so we can look at hits there on social media, but within Parent Square, we also have the ability to interact, which is really nice. And then one other cool thing in technology, it's like Apple's, like one more thing, and that is ClassLink. You may have heard me talk about ClassLink a while ago, but this time it really happened. And I'm super excited about that. So ClassLink is going to be our #1 login page for staff and students. You can sign in, everybody already has their student or staff ID, they sign in with Google. And then from there they get to a dashboard, which depending on who you are, may look something like this, where it's going to be a one-stop shop for all the apps that we have. So sometimes, let's say we have a brand new teacher who comes in, well, what kind of educational tools do we have? Sign in with your name, and everything that's available at that grade level for us is going to be there. So it's going to be a couple of month-long process to start getting everything added to it. But if, for example, you look at things like M-Class, which is Amplify, or Renaissance, which is something like Star, we no longer have to create separate rosters for that. Everything integrates to PowerSchool. Rosters get pulled over in real time. Let's say we have a kid change classes, change schools, their roster updates overnight. So that is something which is, our entire tech department has been working day and night to make this work, and it's been a really nice thing.
May I
Of
interject
course.
just in support of that? So with our youngest learners in particular, just logging on to STAR was like a Herculean effort. The logons were longer than their names. It took literally sometimes our youngest kids 20 minutes just to get in.
I'm gonna bring something in for a second, if you don't mind.
Okay, so working with Ally and the IT department has been really helpful, because as you see, now all they need to do is get themselves in as their district username, which they know because it's their name, right? And then all they need to do is click on that link. So it saves so much aggravation
Frustration too.
and frustration for the child and for the teacher. Yeah.
Single sign-on is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So let's say I'm a kindergartner, or I am anywhere between kindergarten and, I'm gonna say 3rd grade. Our login is student ID at student.torrington.org. It's so long, I gotta type all that. I gotta type in my password. Or I'm gonna get one of these from my teacher. And the Chromebook or the iPad opens up to a little camera, right? and I get all my stuff.
Now, are they gonna leave those at school, the papers? Or is it a badge, or what is
Those
it?
papers are going to be kept in the classroom for the
Okay.
teacher. They don't leave.
Okay, perfect.
And they can be changed and deactivated at any point. They're also location specific. They do not work outside the building.
Nice.
But,
Yeah.
so this now
That's
just
great.
logged me into Benchmark, Amplify, Google, and Star. No password.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
And those devices don't go home in K5.
They don't go home
Right.
either,
So-
no. But
I would know more about paper. than
God forbid, I'm gonna try to be smart. Well, nobody can get to that photo login screen outside the building anyway. But it really, to me, just logging in the elementary grades just takes away so much classroom time. So this will really help. No more
What was this
frustrations.
called, Ally?
This is ClassLink.
ClassLink. Didn't we
She
get a
sent the
message
email.
about
Ally
ClassLink?
sent us an email the other day about it.
Okay,
I sent an all TPS only because
that's where I saw
Yeah,
it. Looking
it
through
was
my
like
papers,
that.
Right.
trying to find where, I
No,
knew I
it
saw
was
something.
in
it was an all TPS email
Our
to
email.
all the staff who were working on Star. 'Cause
Okay.
as we're going through, we are kind of cleaning up a little bit and making it all work. But that kind of stuff really excites me.
Good stuff.
So that's all I have, and I shall update the board this time next month.
I have a couple quick questions,
Of
if I
course.
could. The protection plan?
Yes.
What, so those people have not been given access to the technology if they have not filled out
Right.
the waiver, will say decline or accept the agreement
Absolutely.
and the actual device use
Yep.
agreement. What percentage of those agrees have actually paid? Do we know?
That I do not know yet.
Are we
I
gonna-
can get that for you.
It doesn't matter. I'm just curious how we're going to reconcile that, because I know you can't take the payment. The other question I have is in Parent Square, does the ability exist, because it's really cool, you can fill out the forms. When they go to send reminders, can it exclude the people who have already filled out the form? Because it knows we've gotten the form. Just one of those cool next ideas, because the forms are awesome and you can fill them out and it makes it so easy. But I do wonder if that communication piece, we want people to stay engaged in the platform.
Right.
And if you get bunches of messages you don't really need because they don't apply to you, you start
Then you
to ignore, you try and keep them engaged and send them just the
I
things
think
that
that's
they need.
something we can definitely work on, because we can go into the actual post, look at the list, and from there probably can create a group. And be able to create smart groups.
In the form reports, there's a button you can just click that says set reminder. It sends it to everyone present.
Oh, that's really
I've already
cool.
been doing it for-
Oh,
I
awesome.
wonder though how that works. Well,
It's for a school basis, but it's an option.
Awesome.
I think part of the problem is you have individual teachers sending it to another group plus the school, so someone could be getting
right,
7
it
messages a
absolutely
day.
could be. And then maybe,
And they've already submitted.
right, and it may be that, there's two ways of doing it. One is just do the regular update, send update, and then what Josh was saying, go into the actual form itself and send update. I think both of them are different, and they will have different responses. I think as we're going through we're learning a lot right now.
Yeah, it's our first go and it was awesome being able to fill out the forms. It made it so much easier.
Yeah.
I was just thinking as I got the reminder emails, like, I bet you this is the next, because you've got so much invested in it and such great
Yes.
progress. I don't want to see people become desensitized to it because they,
Absolutely. And two, rather, to prevent from being desensitized, as part of this whole new social media initiative is that we're really looking for getting kids' faces out there, for them to take their pictures, seem anywhere engaged, so that parents will be looking forward to our posts. That's really the whole plan.
awesome.
Get all the good stuff that we're doing, get it out there. And I am one of these parents personally. When my son's school posts, I'm like, okay, where's my son? It's like I do read them.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
that's kind of where we want people to be.
Thank you.
Cool.
Back to you, Glenn.
So one follow-up item for the device protection plan, something we were looking for was what did you call it, the take rate?
She just gave it to us. The take rate was, she showed the percentage of
Yes.
people who
Would you
said,
like me
Is that
to-
what that pie chart was?
Yes.
yes, percentage.
Okay, so you got that, so you're good.
I'm good.
With Paris Square, in the forms, I brought this up last week. I can't see the form that was acknowledged. Mom, we both got the message. Mom filled out the form,
Right.
and I go to look at the form, and it's out in
Right.
hyperspace somewhere. I can't actually see the form. So I have no idea what they agreed to. Me as a parent, just
Right.
as a parent, I wouldn't know what was on that form that Mom had agreed to, and whether the child had actually read it or not, I have no clue. So is there any way to be, once the form is completed, that both parents can still view the completed form? So it has to, if we have to go back and reference, something happened and we want to go back and reference what we agreed to.
So currently there is not. We put it in as a feature request, but the way it works is if we want both parents to be able to see the form, then we lose the ability for only one household to submit that form, so we don't get duplicates. You can, however, contact the school and say, can I please have a copy of the form that was submitted?
Okay.
So we put it in as a feature request to parents who are saying, hey, is there any way to make this better, especially for split households? And they're saying, they've gotten that a lot, they acknowledge that. But for us, it's difficult to make that change because then it would be very difficult for us to reconcile the responses, especially if we end up getting responses that do not match.
It really shows up in all forms, and then there's a section for my forms. I was hoping that our executed form would show up in my forms.
It only does for the person who filled it out.
So that's why Bob can only see it, even though part is enough.
Does it send the Ally to both parents at once? Are they both getting it and it disappears for the one that fills? So once it's been filled out by somebody attached to the student,
Correct.
it disappears.
Yes.
And it's not, is if it's attached to the student, you'd think you'd be able to see it because it's a record of the student. But is it attached to the parent who fills it out?
It's attached to the parent who fills it out.
So that's why you can't see it.
Yeah. And
Can we attach forms to a student?
Maybe I just need to get Michelle's password.
Yeah. I was just thinking that, but yeah, we'll
Listen,
figure it
it's
out.
like anything else. I don't know anything that
it's
goes on
something
anyway.
they can only do,
Once you're like me,
just the
you
way
just
they have the security
can't
set
feed
on
the
it.
information
It's-
they need.
We asked for it, but they said, yeah, we know.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a common
And
request.
the way to get around it is to uncheck that box to automatically fill in the student information. If you don't have that, then it's not attached to the student.
And then it's duplicate.
And
It's
then
not
it
a
can
work.
be duplicated, and then we get multiple responses, so it's.
It's not a huge problem right now, but just,
We did reach out to them and we asked them,
Okay.
and they've been very responsive with things we hit them with, so
We have an answer to that from the
stay
district.
tuned.
The answer is just be the first one to fill it out. And if you're the first one to fill it out, we've got our information back in the district much faster, and you've got
actually, you know
access
what?
to the
This way's
form.
better because, now I don't have to answer any additional questions. So, Farron, any other questions?
Nope.
On technology or social media? All right, we'll move on to facilities. And the first item we have up here is the TMS roof update.
Yes, I will email Sharon tomorrow. I was out last week, but it is with them now. I would imagine it's probably almost complete. Go over to Gail at the next step, so I will
Okay.
let you know. I will definitely email and call them tomorrow.
So that's still, we'll keep that pending for the contract update from Chip.
Sure.
Radio replacements. We were looking for to confirm that all the product exchanges were complete and performance is
Working.
acceptable.
Yeah, so I polled all of our principals, I think, to kind of get a perspective on what they think. And they think the training was very good. They're working for the most part. I think they would like them to be a little bit quicker, so to speak, but it is a handheld radio. So I think there's just a few more people who have to get used to that, because that's what they said. Soon as it's more user issues right now than radio issues. In fact, I believe the high school safety assistant principals in charge of safety had asked me if we could get 6 more for the safety folks there. So I think they're, for the most part, everything's going okay.
Okay. But we had to send the radio, I think there were two models, the
All the
5,000 and the
radios,
7,000.
all the radios are all set. We're just waiting for the wireless earpieces right now. And again, I actually spoke to him just a couple hours before the meeting, just to kind of ask him if there's an ETA on them, and kind of gave me the chip queue excuse, and I kind of told him we can't use the chip card anymore. If you could actually call Motorola and actually get me an ETA on the wireless earpieces. And I asked him if in fact, if he cannot get me that information, to give me the Motorola contact that they use, and I'd be more than happy to make some calls or write a letter to him. So we're still waiting
I
on it.
believe the vendor was Norcom.
It was Norcom, yes.
Right?
That's who I spoke to, Norcom, but
Is that
they're getting it from Motorola.
the
Yeah,
wireless?
you won't be able to deal directly with Motorola.
Okay.
The wireless was a separate PO though, right? We added the wireless headsets afterwards, didn't we? The original PO was for the radios, and then we had that whole debacle with the repeaters and getting the S75s, I think, reprogrammed. We had a holdback with them. It was a small percentage. We kind of decided, did we pay it? Because that would be the close in their eyes
Right,
of
that
that
was one of my
project.
questions. It was.
No, we did, and
10% pullback was reconciled.
we have paid them, and I believe that 10% holdback, full disclosure, I wasn't aware of a 10% holdback. So when I received the last invoice, I believe, during the transition, I paid it, so.
Right.
But I will say that they have been,
training.
Yeah.
That's-
yeah, and they
that's
have
really
been
my-
responsive to me when I call. They call me right back, so,
Okay.
and I've had a few discussions, like I said, just one space.
Any other questions on radios?
Nope.
Kind of put this
Put it to bed.
to rest and
It's off the list.
Hopefully.
until we. All right, fair enough. Move on from that. Touring Ford driveway.
So I did ask Mr., I'm going to get his last name wrong, so I'm just going to say Jeremy. And then also Sergeant Baldus. So initially, I had called Jeremy and I asked him, based on our last meeting, if he could in fact send me something in writing via email that we're good. And I have it here. I could pass it out at some point. And it says that the work conducted on the site is complete and in compliance with the approved plans. I have closed the permit out and marked it as complete. There's no restrictions, planning and zoning approval. And then there was a question on traffic flow. And then later on that day, Sergeant Baldus responded back and saying he's all set with it. There's no conflict with the existing driveway or ADA ramp to the sidewalk. So I think
Super duper.
Off the list.
we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Finally.
We're cruising tonight,
All
Glenn.
right. Any questions on the THS driveway? No? All right, move on. The biggest thorn in my side, THS parking. Someone had requested to put this on. I forget.
You forgot outline for
What's that? Did I skip one?
Outline for building,
Too
correct?
anxious to get to.
Oh.
Excited about the board.
Yeah, I was too.
Should've been in line.
Outline for building prep in October.
So are we talking about for the project that's going on at the middle school, I'm assuming?
I'm not
What
really
are we
sure
talking
who
about?
requested that item.
Because Scott and I were talking about
Yeah, I
that.
gotta be honest, I was,
So I think I
I could talk about
take that.
forward,
Or is
but
it-
I was
Is that it,
confused
or
on
was
that.
it
Yeah.
when we started talking about, last month, I know we started talking about getting subcommittees together to,
That's a different.
start looking at, yes. So I think that was that, it was
Preparation,
specific to
review
that,
building, just a reminder and discussion if necessary.
Yeah.
We'll know I have
but
myself.
there's something else going on that
Oh,
you
no,
wanna talk about.
We just thought that meant the FOIA project we are on, because we,
No,
at
not
the
the
time
FOIA.
of
No.
October, so we're good. Okay.
It was about the, moving schools, do we have to close the school?
Yeah.
What are we doing with everybody with those,
it's what happened.
Grades and redistricting and all that
all
stuff?
that?
Yeah, building consolidation.
Okay.
So they,
An outline for building consolidation.
somewhere in this building, somewhere. Dave Becerra, the old facility director, did reports where they looked at every school, the square footage of each room, which rooms had a bathroom.
I might have that too that was back when we did the
Elementary
pre-district
ad hoc.
elementary
Yeah.
ad hoc. I might have
We didn't
that.
get the whole report, but Dave had, I figure so maybe we gave that, I
I've seen
think it
that.
would
Okay.
prevent.
I think that
people
might
having
be
to
buried on
redo
my
the same
desk somewhere.
thing.
That was very comprehensive.
Because nothing's
It was.
changed,
Yeah,
right, in the
yeah.
building, other than the high school.
Scott and I could locate that, not a
That'll be
problem.
helpful.
Yep. Scott
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
will.
Go
Yeah,
from there.
I think we've seen
Because
that.
then
That's
it's
the one that had
easier.
capacities and it said where you could put
Yes.
kindergarten,
Yeah.
pre-K because
Yes.
of proximity to a
Yes.
bathroom.
Yeah, so we got the
Yeah.
summary, but the actual analysis, I think, is a lot bigger. But that would at least let the board start looking at what could you do with each building, because some buildings you can't,
That'll save us months.
if we can find that. That's, I was thinking that would be a good place to start,
Sure, we can
looking
do
at
that.
that.
Okay, we move that item till next month then,
Yep,
and
absolutely.
see what kind of details we can gather up. Any other questions in regards to that?
You're off, Glenn.
Probably
Go ahead,
No,
Glenn.
no, I'm trying to keep moving so we don't get caught up. No, any other questions? So just, THS parking.
So I have a report here. I was not here, but I did get a pretty detailed report on how it all went down and where we stand currently. After speaking to central office numerous times, it was decided that the upcoming seniors, class of 24, parking the last week of the 2022-23 school year so that they get acclimated to how to park on campus. We then updated the student parking pass form and sent it out to the upcoming seniors. When the forms were submitted, they requested a copy of the student's license, and then were designated a parking spot, each of those students that did what they were supposed to. Tried to spread the spots out as much as possible in the beginning because the students tried to insist on backing into their parking spaces, and sometimes that was a safety concern while other cars are moving in. I'll just put that. And currently, as we stand today, as of this afternoon, when this was generated, there are only 3 spots left for the school year. Once they run out, there's nothing else we can do. But everyone.
Three open
Do we
spots.
need to start driving through the high school again?
I'm kidding.
Well, I did drive through the
Glenn and I
high
used to
school
go
looking
through.
for looking for the 9/11 on the track. Did that get moved?
We were inside.
Yeah, that's what I thought had happened. And there were a lot of parking places at 10 o'clock in the morning.
That was just
They all
like
had
keep-
numbers on them, but
I'll just give you a little background. My daughter was a junior last year, and parking, this was the first thing that I had to deal with it. It was a complete debacle. So some of us
We all
would
lived
do
it.
some recon, and, after school was in, between 9:30 and 10:30 and 11 o'clock, and on average, there was like
30?
50 to 60 available parking spaces, but we're being told that there's no more parking spaces. So.
So on paper, they're assigned. In reality, they're not being used.
It's a plethora. And we just didn't know
And you could really
the
drive
number
through
of,
there
if
any
there's
given
more
day.
students this year and that some of that got consumed, or is it a similar situation? So really, that's what.
Is there as much noise about it for the juniors? No,
Not that we've heard.
now that Haley's a senior?
There's one.
No, I heard one.
One complaint from a
Talk
junior?
about, and what grade are you in junior?
Yeah.
You don't get a parking place,
Yeah.
only seniors.
And Oliver Wolcott's been like that for years. Where the
But the
only
thing
seniors
is,
could park.
they might not drive every single day.
Mhm.
You know, I have a permit, but I only drive on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But you can't give it to someone else.
Some of the upperclassmen too, again, this is kind of a personal thing, which I shouldn't use this meeting for, but I did get someone tell me that their child has a sport after school and they're underclassmen and they're parked way down by Lowe's and down the apartments, and they got a little scolded one day because they came down the bus road. No, you have to drive around, tell your coach you're gonna be even later for breakfast. I don't know if there's any concessions to allow the kids, if there's no bus traffic going on and the gate is up, can they drive up the driveway to get to practice, or do they really have to drive around all the way through the neighborhoods to come in?
I think part
I
of
don't
the
know.
issue was we had to get special permission from the buses because of that housing complex behind it. That gate is supposed to be shut, so they only allow us to open it for buses.
Yeah.
So we would actually get in trouble by the city if we allowed cars to go there, because that's not what they authorize people for. So it's not the school, it's the way
When
we
did that
got.
change? The whole time, this is
When
going back a long
Domain
time.
Drive went
Okay, because it
up.
wasn't
It's
there.
not Grand Village.
It was always closed.
Grand
when we were
Village, it
here.
is still Grand Village, but there's that main, there's a
Then when
road
they
that's
did
not
the
part
Domain
of,
Drives is when they shut that back. I don't know why.
maybe because it's part of their street.
So I don't think it's an issue that we can say they can. I think that the traffic department would have to override and say that more than buses could come through there. Was it?
I remember that conversation
Yeah.
at building committee. It was
Right.
pretty heated discussion,
Yes.
right, about, yes. That was the only way they were gonna grant the permission.
Right.
To reduce the amount of traffic, right?
And it
Back
can
there.
only be
I don't know, I wasn't at that
a certain
meeting, but it
amount of
makes sense. I
Right.
could see that's why they would limit it. It's not an ideal situation.
Okay. Well, next time.
You asked,
Yeah.
right?
did my-
I
did
can
my
ask-
duties.
I can ask the building committee next week too and ask them if there was any variance to that. Or if it was
Yeah.
only buses, but I'm pretty sure it was only buses.
I mean, it's hard for kids. They get out of school, they gotta walk all the way to the car, and they're trying to get to practice for 2:30, 2:45, and
We used to walk back and forth up hills both ways.
Yeah. What do they have to do to the
No, I'm not
for?
saying the walking thing, I'm saying
The
the time,
timing.
the time to get out of school, to get to your car, to get changed, to get to practice. And then
Yeah.
they'll go drive all the way
Well,
around.
then leave their
Just,
stuff in the
you should
locker
just bring your
like
stuff
we
to
did.
school with you in the morning.
No, I think I would think for
So
me,
you don't
it would
walk
be
to
more of
the
a
car.
safety issue, because then it's dark when they get out of practice, then they have to walk over to the back of Lowe's through the village. I think that's riskier than having them go get their car and move it up to the school after
So
school.
those are
hours. Those
spots
kids should not
behind
be
this?
walking.
No.
No,
Well,
but that's where we've been telling them to park, so now we can't turn around and say, no, you can't park there. That's where
We're not telling them.
We're not telling.
no, we're
them
not telling them to
there.
park there.
somebody's telling them to park there.
It's not the school
Super
district.
secret squirrel system.
Yes,
Yes.
that's it.
Okay, enough of that beating that.
Taking it off or you pushing it through?
What are we gonna talk
Just throw
about?
it away.
I like taking it off. We're in a move of taking things off the future agendas
Yeah,
list.
there's nothing else to talk about there, right?
Awesome, I
Until
like
something else comes up,
I like it.
until I get.
That's where I was going with this.
Ed's not here, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to talk about this one, or unless anybody else has some input about the state of Connecticut HVAC mandated update to the HVAC systems. Anybody know anything about that?
I could say it's a moving target. I could also say that they are now in the infancy stages of releasing some grants. Our wonderful grant writer is looking into some things. And her and I have had conversations about it. But it's so preliminary right now. Their target, even just for the grant, is at the end of December, which is still a moving target.
Yep.
Their issue is, I think they're just waiting to see what is going to be the requirement and the when part, because there's not that many companies that could accommodate this. Scott and I had that conversation in his office recently this week. So everything is moving. We're on top of the grant component because obviously, if and when, we'd like to be able to receive some funds for that, so it doesn't come on the burden of the city. So we're aware of that. Donna has been working diligently on that, but it is a moving target. So
Yep.
there's no update other than we are looking into the requirements to receive any money that would come out, and then we'll do an analysis of the actual what that comes with it and get the appropriate paperwork that we have.
And honestly, the longer they wait, the better, because we might be able to get out of having to do it
Right.
at THS.
And I was telling Michael, on Sunday mornings, they have that Capitol Report show and the other ones that are on Connecticut, and they actually had the individual who's in charge of this now. And the reporter asked some really good questions. They said, last year there was a lot of school districts that were, a little upset with how you guys rolled it out the first time. And she did a full mea culpa and said, this time I think the districts are going to have more resources. So it was nice to see, on TV that they are talking about it and they're serious about it.
So everybody okay with we kind of keep this on a monthly basis and keep monitored? They could potentially have some budget impacts too.
Yeah, that was
Um,
Yeah.
huge.
So we'll just keep that rolling, just call it an update. I did notice that City of Waterbury has put out bids for HVAC replacements. I don't know if it's in reaction to this or if they had it in their capital plans or not, but we can review, see what they have in their bids, what are they asking for, that may help. I think there were two in the last 2 to 3 weeks of the last month. City of Waterbury had 2 bids go out for HVAC replacements. I don't know what schools. Using that cheat sheets. That's all for now. Any other questions? No? All right. All right. Big one, and the last one for now would be the secure foyers. Do we have any updates
Sure,
on
we-
that?
We do. So the middle school is still on target. I spoke to them early Monday. So we're still on target there. I actually contacted the vendor for Southwest. So Southwest was the cheaper between Torringford and Southwest. So because Southwest wasn't going to be disruptive and we could do it during school because they're really replacing the glass panel. So I spoke to them this morning. They're going to go out there either later this week or early next week to make whatever measurements they need to make. And we'll see how much it's going to cost, even though we think that we had a quote. It was just the individual that I spoke to today didn't have that in front of them. So they're going to, I said I'm in no hurry today, but I do have an upcoming board meeting that I would like to report on. So if you could get me something by tomorrow, that'd be great. If they don't have anything, they're going to go out there and measure it. So we'll be having Southwest also. Now the Torringford one, I believe, is a little bit more entailed. I still have to find the information for it so I could bring myself up to speed on it. But I think that was a summer, if I remember correctly, that would have needed to be a summer project because it was a little bit more entailed. And we didn't want the students happening during the school year.
There was a structural piece to Torringford
Yes.
that wasn't initially thought, and then when somebody looked at it, it was determined by the engineer that it required some structural work, so it wasn't something we could do during the school
Were
years.
all 3 of these bid out?
I believe they were. I just haven't gone through the Torringford file, and I haven't found the Southwest one, so that's why I made the calls to Southwest. But I think so.
But none of them are on the contract except for cleaners.
Correct.
How long are these? How much of a price increase or impact is going to be the longer we wait? I believe
Torringford,
all 3 of these were on our cabinet.
Torringford, I'm sure there's going to be because it's a little bit more entailed, but Southwest, honestly, I don't envision a big increase in that one.
There was a contingency number too in the, we carried.
Yeah, when we went through the numbers, we had it, well, based on the initial numbers that we have, initial estimates, we had money to cover it in the capital plan.
And
I
there
guess if it's gonna be, if we're looking at next year, is that your point? But
Yeah, well, so as long as they're on the contract by the end of this fiscal, it's good, right? So if we can get on the contract before July 1, and then they can do the work themselves, that's what, we're okay. So by the time we get a contract, they could say, well, our labor rates or whatever increase, it's gonna be X amount.
Torringford will absolutely
It
be
is
done
what it
next
is,
summer.
but as long as we're staying focused, we can get a contract by the end of the school year, good.
Yep, I'm very confident.
When you say TMS is on target, what's the target?
We're doing it during the break,
Christmas, Columbus? Oh, good.
and they've said that they would work overtime, not that we're gonna pay them overtime, they would work over the weekend
Get it
in
done.
order to get it done for us, so.
I mean, if we can get, if we don't have to wait another year to get these done, looking at getting the bids out.
Correct, and I think that's to Scott's point. I think Southwest is going to be the easier one that we might target the holiday break. And then Torringford, because it's more entailed, we'll get the bid, we'll get commitments, and we'll get that as soon as we end school, we'll get that done. So we have 2 out of the 3 done, which is better than.
Not doing it, yeah, we're not
Correct.
getting it done.
Did we look at the Vogel one that we asked about? Because there was something super simple at Vogel to make it a real secure. It had to do with, it had to
Volvo was
do,
done.
it had to do with the lock on the office. There was something that, because the doors at the end all self-lock and they're pin pad protected, but the office remains open. So when you walk in,
There's no visual from that office. I think the thing is the office can't see anybody else.
there was,
Outside
it
your
was something
office.
simple. It was very inexpensive from what
Technically,
they
it's not
said.
a secure vestibule because if you get in the first entry, you can still go into the gymnasium from the office over there.
Well,
There's
they're,
no
they're
doorway.
locked. There's a doorway. Yeah, there's a doorway with pin pad locks on both sides.
In that long hallway?
Yep, so when you walk into the long hallway, you
Hold
can,
on, let's not talk about the
right,
the layouts of the buildings.
it is, yeah,
Okay.
we can talk, but
It's
that's,
secure.
it's good.
They added a,
We could put an
Okay.
executive session on, I just don't wanna talk about the layout. of the school.
Okay. fair enough. I guess we could talk about it.
But you could call an executive session to talk about it, I just
No,
don't
no,
know.
that's something for,
Just keep it on back burner.
something to do for next year anyway.
Do we
right?
think that
Yeah.
project was discussed though, where I could find it somewhere?
It should be.
Okay.
It was
And it was
super,
just the front doors
it's,
or?
yeah, it's just one of the entrances, interior.
All right.
The main
Any
entrance.
other, yeah, go ahead.
I do think we should check on that funding, because that funding for the secure vestibule is actually from the proceeds of the sale of the school. So I'm not sure if that has, because the board of finance voted to give us that funding for these projects. Just want to make sure.
It was my understanding, Scott and I, and we could 100% triple
Yeah.
check, but that money was in the capital plan for us to use.
Right, I just want to
So,
make sure if we don't expend it by June 30th, that would
Oh, okay. I
Come under
got you.
different-
Understood.
criteria as regular capital
Gotcha.
money.
I'm sorry. Yeah, understood the question.
You want to have a follow-up?
Yeah, I think we should
Okay.
just see.
East school funding.
You want it in budget or here?
Yeah, why don't we move that to the budget?
Yeah.
Why don't you add that to your
So
future-
just monitor the rollover money.
And the explanation we can spend it. Good. Yep. I think we should be.
Yeah, we might be able to, I just don't want to find out after.
Understood. Neither do I.
Yeah.
Any other secure FOIA questions or concerns? Either the three mentioned schools or any others? No? All right. Moving on. The topics for future meetings. What do I have? Again, with Ally, with technology, we'll keep the same tech update and social media update. Facilities, we're gonna see if we can get the update on the TMS roof. Right. The outline for the building prep. Let's say building, let's say
capacity.
outline for
Yeah.
building capacity.
Yeah, that's.
Makes more sense. HVAC update. We'll kind of keep that on a rolling basis. Do we have anything else to talk about, secure FOIAs, except for the budget item that we moved over to Sue? Any other topics for future meetings that anybody would like to add?
I think at some point, we should talk about, if we had a capital budget that we didn't get funded for,
Okay.
but they were like priority lists. I think we should look at those things that we did.
We did look at that.
Right.
We have, I think we need to look at it again. We looked at it in June. We went through everything. I don't know if Ellen, in the meeting, I put it in our email. It's all been done. I think we need to look at it again and
Yeah, because
sign off on it, because we spent quite a bit of time going through those numbers and moving things. And, John had things on there that were actually completed, that were still on the
Yeah, that's
list.
true.
Like, we
Some-
need to go through that again.
So is that a budget thing, or should we talk about
It's
facilities?
well, I think it's both, and I think you have to look at the impact on the facilities, because remember, our capital, even though we're probably not gonna get anything, but our capital is due in December. So already, our next meetings are October, right?
Right.
Right.
So I think we should
So-
start looking at what didn't get done, that we put in before, to do.
Ellen
Because
and Ed
that's
have
gonna
to
bump
know.
everything.
So let's add an item for capital improvement list. And let's
But I gave him.
go through that, see what's done and what's not done, and come up with a plan. You think we could find that?
Or
It's
at
already,
Is
yes,
that,
absolutely.
oh, I thought you were shaking your head.
He
like,
knows where it is.
No, I,
Uncovered already.
Yeah.
All right, so you do have.
Yeah,
yes,
All right,
Yeah,
let's-
yeah.
yes, yes.
But at least it'll show us what's gonna
That's
have
right,
to get
yes.
pumped out
Thank you, Ellen.
again.
we sat and.
You have the
and-
breakdown from
yes,
June, like the changes we made?
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, okay, good.
because we sat, after the meeting, we sat.
And did a sync up?
Yep,
Yeah,
All
I thought we presented it, but yes,
No,
we have it.
not yet,
Yep.
okay, yeah, if we could, great.
So we'll call this updated capital improvements.
So my hope would be that the facility can look at it in October. They can move it to the budget committee for November, so that budget can give it to the full board in November, so that everybody's not scrambling.
Well, I have it
week
on-
of Christmas to get it over to the city, that way we can finalize it.
You don't have it tonight, do you?
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Isn't this the capital plan that the city of Torrington agreed on, except for that one item, that entrance, the old entranceway at Forbes? That the one finance
Oh, that
committee
Chris said
member?
that it
So
doesn't
now-
need to be done because it's not an entrance.
Not all the projects were covered, no. That was what we were being asked about our budget, but then we didn't actually get our budget. So we can talk about it. And look at it all, but that was our
We got-
wish budget, and we were getting questioned that night.
What?
We didn't get anything.
Okay. We'll get you. Absolutely.
All right. Raising your hand, Mr. Kisco?
No, I'm just, I did do the calendar, and if we're talking about December, remember, we moved the meetings forward a week for November and December, so we don't really have as
A lot
much
of
of
time.
December as we might otherwise.
It's really depressing when we're thinking, oh, well, we gotta hurry up because December's almost here.
I know.
Can we just send it to
Maybe
budget in the
7
same night? Because facility goes ahead of budget.
Yeah, I mean, I have it on tonight's agenda. We don't have it tonight, right? We can skip over that and just cover it.
If it is ready, I think you would make a motion just to add it to your agenda that evening, if that's appropriate.
Yeah, we could just do that
I
next
would not,
month.
I wouldn't put it as a placeholder, I would just assume add it if this committee feels strongly enough to push it. And through their recommendation, you would just make a motion to add, once it's added, then we can discuss.
Good, we're on the same page here? All right, fair enough. Comments for the good of the order. Sue?
Good meeting.
Sorry, forget your name.
Chris.
Chris.
I just want to publicly thank all of the tech team and, for their hard work. And we have a lot more to come on the social media side. We're waiting for a lot of releases. We did take a lot more pictures from the openings and from different visits to schools, so really exciting when we'll put that up. And also a public thank you to Scott for stepping up, continuing to step up with the facility side. So it's been tremendous and always well.
Thank you, great meeting.
All set?
Good meeting.
Thanks, everybody.
you get excited, I think you excite all of us, so it's contagious.
I'm sorry.
I know, it's great, I think it's.
Read it by John.
Good meeting. John?
I think good job. Scott, Chris, thank you for all of you guys for pitching in. I haven't had anybody to
Great meeting.
No questions? And last but not least, all right, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
7:20.
All right.
All right,
real affliction, but.
ready? Here's the agenda and packets.
Take one and pass it down.
Anybody need
Sure.
anything down there?
Oh, so this is what was emailed to us?
Yes.
Okay.
Just in case you don't have it.
Yeah. Just the agenda. But I'm
I'll
just.
skip.
You
Yeah,
can have it.
I will, yeah.
We want to close it.
No, there's more, I can grab them.
I have it on my phone. I read it ahead, so we can. Somebody can have mine if they need it.
Donna, do you have one?
I don't know.
But do you want the?
Yep, that's perfect. Okay, I'd like to call to order the Budget Committee meeting on Wednesday, September 13th at 7:23 PM. Committee members present, Jeff, myself, and Glenn. Marissa, you'll capture everybody else that's here, right?
And I'm here, Sue.
Hi, Jason. Jason's on the phone. Approval of the agenda. Motion to approve the agenda,
So move.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes, just a motion to approve the minutes from last month.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Public participation, Josh, we're good?
No one online.
Discussion and next steps, monthly financials. Oh, you know what, no, I'll skip it after. Monthly financials. I have a couple questions. Just want to highlight quickly, Scott. First, I think, just to clarify, this top row, it's the printer that crossed off the certified salaries. Crossed off the whole line.
Yeah.
That's just a copy thing, right?
Yes.
You see it? Okay.
Yeah, the top line, it's not on your copy, it's on our copy.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
Mine looks good.
All right, good.
My apologies.
Oh, that's all right. I just wanted to make sure that that was it. Overtime wages, I know we talk about this all the time. We're already on track to spend what we budgeted. But I think that we talked about maybe not having to utilize as much overtime.
Yes,
No, go ahead.
yes, duly noted.
I know you're
We're
keeping
gonna
an
have a
eye on it.
conversation with the superintendent, and we're gonna come up with a plan.
I mean, we're 3 weeks into the school year.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. I mean, if it's, of course, it's warranted, there's a lot going on, but I also think that if we can, we have to just.
And there
watch
is.
our
It's-
pennies right now.
We've had some transition. This is a real busy time,
Mhm.
with payroll being our first certified
everything.
kind of payroll, getting everything together, so, but yeah, we're definitely gonna temper that.
Perfect, thank you. All right, really quick, I'll make this quick.
Can I follow up on your question on the overtime?
On overtime? Sure.
The overtime question on the custodial overtime, we traced back at the end of last year to something that's reimbursable. So is it reflected, before we think that, hey, it's actual in-district use, a lot of times it's third-party use of our facilities. We were gonna figure out how much of that was coming back in fees, and it was gonna be a revenue line item, so we could kind of see how much of that is, non-school programs. Somebody renting our facilities, to be able to figure out where that revenue item goes, or a way to reflect
I
it.
do know where the money goes, and we do have a balance in there. I will start keeping track as of July 1st. I'll go back to see if there's been any revenue taken in there, and I'll report it on the bottom of the summary sheet going forward.
Because it may give better color to what if it actually is us just not having enough staff for during the normal day, or
I
if
think
it's.
this is more than just custodial overtime. This
If-
is all of our clerical, our administrative assistants and all that.
I just saw it, it's the
Yeah.
line item I asked about in budget,
Right,
that's why
yeah.
I
But
see it
it's
already going
definitely-
there.
It's not just the custodial, it's
Mostly.
Yeah, no,
Goes back
I'll
to the-
definitely add to the summary sheet. That's so easy.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all right. On page 3 of 5, line item 5411, I know sewer taxes went up, but we're already over. Did we not budget for the increase?
So I will look at that. I saw that this afternoon. I was a little late getting this together for a couple
Yeah.
different reasons.
That's okay.
Had some facilities issues I had to take care of. But when I saw the sewer one, I think I know what it is. I'm just not gonna say anything until
Until you
I,
look?
yeah,
Perfect,
until I
that's
look,
great.
but I think I know what that is.
Okay. Same thing with disposal services. Do we pay them up front for?
Now, the disposal surface, are you
I mean,
looking
we're
at
already,
5420?
yes, 5420, we're at 97%.
That's because of what we encumbered. If you look at
Okay.
the encumbrance, it's
Oh, here's the encumber, I see it, yes, got it, yep, okay. Landscaping,
can you give me a number?
5430.20.
right below that, it's a 5430 section, the last one.
Again, it's what are you concerned that it's at 97%?
Well, that, and just, again, the cost overall for what we're getting and what's been done. I think we've talked about this before.
And-
I just want to keep us, just keep it on the forefront.
Absolutely. I mean,
And
and,
when is that contract up?
I could let you know.
If you could let us know next time,
meeting.
Overall contract or annual contract? It's yearly commitment.
Is it,
I believe it
More
goes
than
from
a
like
year.
April to December, I believe is the scope of
It
work
is.
for actual services,
you're right.
April to December.
so after December, then we no longer have a contract with them?
We looked at, no, we have a longer one. We looked at this
No,
with
I
the
wanna know
fields.
when does that
Contractual agreement, I
contract
believe, is
end?
for 5 years.
It was 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's 26 or 27. We looked at this when we were
Might
talking
have
about the
been 3 or
softball
5, I forget, but it was one of the two.
I'll find out.
So really, the 97%
thing. Is okay.
you're in line, you'd be paying full value.
Again, it's the way we pay the contract. That's why it's
Okay.
all encumbered. So
It's
honestly,
building.
I'm not worried about that one. And,
Well, until we get bills for extra work
yeah, well,
that we constantly get billed for.
we'll,
Built in 3 pieces. That contract's built in 3 pieces.
But it's billed in 3 pieces, but we also get billed for work that somehow always falls outside the scope of the contract. That's where my concern is.
I met with Chase a few times, so,
He's aware, I'm sure, that we're watching every single penny
He
we
is.
pay him. All right,
he is.
okay, good. Copier services, is there an encumbrance there that I missed?
Yeah.
We're already
Yeah.
at, okay.
It's the leases, I'm pretty sure.
Again, it's the encumbrances and
Okay, that's it, that's all I have as far as specific questions on the budget. Jeff, hold on one sec before, I just want to check with Jason to see if you have any questions on that item.
Nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Jeff?
I'm
Glenn?
good. I'm good after the overtime question.
You guys have anything? Fiona? On monthly financials? No? All right, food service program changes. I know it's early, but we were kind of hoping that maybe we saw some, just for an update on, I think it doesn't necessarily fall on budget, but as far as savings goes, I figured we could sneak it in here to see how good it's going for the first few weeks and everybody's happy.
so I will have to meet Peter. So I think we've upped our game as far as the food goes with, number one, with Boar's Head and also with Thurston. Speaking to both of them, we're getting a better quality of food from Thurston right now also. I haven't asked specifically if the kids are happier or not, but I will.
We
And,
have.
We have.
You have? Yeah.
We've actually, in our tours of all the buildings, we make sure to stop in the cafeteria. We actually have staff have shared with us, first time in a long time, they're actually partaking in the food as well. The students we've talked to have been very happy with the product. Menu is just more appealing, just even from an online perspective.
I want to go look at it.
As Scott mentioned, Tyson, rather than going from a combination meat, which is acceptable, it's an all white meat product now that we're bringing in addition to the Boar's Head. So Peter and Kristen are really making it better quality, better product. And Scott mentioned Thurston. Peter brought Thurston in. He actually brought Thurston in. So he carries a certain level of clout with those groups, and to have that gentleman in the office and to hear our needs and to really just provide for our students, that's what was key. And if we had that meeting, they moved forward, and we're getting a good product. And soon I joked with one of the salads looked really good.
It's real lettuce.
Real lettuce. It's real lettuce. It's real green. And the Boar's Head sandwiches seemed to be a hit. I know when we were in the schools, that
So
was
exciting.
really exciting stuff. Really exciting. So we're excited with Peter and the team.
And the ladies I shouldn't say ladies, the people working in the kitchen are happy too.
Are they?
Yeah, because the
Good.
kids are happy to get their food.
Right, they're not like torturing the cafeteria workers.
Even at the high school level?
They were.
Middle
They
school was
seem to be
tougher than the
away.
high school. The middle schoolers were really tough with the meals.
They were liking it in the days. We've been there several times.
One
so-
day when we were at the high school, we got there after the kids had gone through, right? And the CAP folks were then eating, and they were eating what they'd served, and it was
cool.
good.
And they've offered to feed us multiple times.
Yeah, very, very nice.
I also heard that we now have some of those daily items are actually offered every day, like the salads and things, which I heard a lot of good things about. It was nice to have that, more grade levels, that variety of everyday available items.
That's nice. Jason, do you want to give us any feedback about the new lunch menu?
It really was nice to see Boar's Head sticker on a sandwich. Let me tell you, I got one, and so I know what that goes for at Big Y. So kudos for the contract that we got for that. I think it's definitely a plus. I'm always a big push for the salads. I really miss the salad bar at the middle school. I know that it's labor intensive, but I do miss the salad bar. I know they have the pre-made salads. The only question that I have is in regards to the stipulations for what's served for breakfast. It's a lot of French toast sticks, cinnamon rolls, Cocoa Puffs, which make a mess all over the floor, but seems to be high sugar content type products. And I don't know, and I think we're getting prepackaged things to help with the assembly. So I don't know if that could be looked at as far as exactly what's being served for breakfast.
So I could address that. Peter and Kristen actually work on that definitely weekly, but we're hot on that today to put the carbs and the sugars list and everything together, because it does have to coincide with the healthy food since it's federally funded. So I hear you, and sometimes we do see some of those things, like the Eggo waffles and but it is whole wheat Eggo waffles and it is turkey sausage, and yes, the syrup is sugary and some of the other sugary treats, but it does fall in line with what is considered acceptable in the meal. But Peter and Kristen have been working on that to provide other alternatives. So we hear you, and they are working on that. And to your point about the salad bar, I know that's on their to-do list. It's right now it's so new and everything is hot off the press. So I think any recommendations they have listened to and will continue to listen to make it better for students and staff. So that is on their radar as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The one other thing is, can we just make sure that it's publicized how much a lunch is for staff? I don't know if it's put somewhere. I think it was a little sticker shock for some people the first day or so through.
We can do that, absolutely.
Do what?
Publicize the staff dollar amount for their lunch.
For lunch? Okay. Do we know what that is?
I was just going to ask. Jason, do you know how much it was?
I just put in my number and I put money in when I do go down if I don't bring my lunch. I feel one of the staff members said it may have been $6 something, which, it's still less than what you're going to get out at a restaurant or anything. But I don't know if that's accurate, and I may have misheard.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. No other comments on that? 23, 24 surplus. I don't think we have a surplus. I wonder, is that what I meant by that? Did somebody else put that on there, or was that me?
There was just a discussion at the end of the last meeting.
Report.
Well, that's D, update on priorities and changes to the capital plan. But the 23,
That was what we
24
mentioned, now we had
surplus.
the 200,000 for the athletic fields, and then there was
Oh,
something
right.
else. Is that what you
And
were
that-
asking about?
That could be.
And
It
the
was the
additional-
20.
We had to submit to the city for the additional money to be carried
Right,
over.
so
Was the
it
question?
was, the question around that was, did that money get released? Did they turn it, did the city send the money for the turf field, or did you request it?
And did they approve the extra money to go to capital?
We're hoping to get that letter off to the mayor this
Okay.
week.
All right,
I just have to put something in a form,
put it together, okay,
give it to the superintendent, and he'll send
get it
over.
off to her, okay, thank you. And
In
then,
conjunction with that though, so is the audit done?
oh, right,
I believe the audit is done, completed.
are they going to share it with us, or?
When they issue a management letter, I'd be more than happy to,
They haven't,
not that I'm aware of, but I will inquire.
do we have to get we pay for part of it, right? Do we pay for part of the audit? We do.
Yes,
We pay 60-something%. Can we request a copy of the audit from the auditors directly?
of course.
Okay, why don't we just do that?
That's a good idea.
All right, let's do that. Okay, so that's some topics for future meetings. So, copy of the audit. All right, item D, update on priorities and changes to spending regarding the capital plan. So we did talk about this in facilities. We're gonna leave it there for now, and continue to monitor, we'll have to monitor in both places for the time being. So we're not gonna talk about that anymore. Topics for future meetings. One I have is to monitor the rollover money for the vegetables. Can it be spent on the vegetables, or to make sure we spend on the vegetables, I should say. Vegetables. The copy of the audit, reviewing the audit, Marissa. Monthly financials, obviously. The 23-24 surplus, we'll keep that on there because the letter will go out after this meeting. Anything else?
I got two more. Just that piece of the revenue on the financials, and then I would think I'm not sure if it's a facilities or a budget thing here, but we did go through that whole thing with the facility use forms and rentals. We asked at that point to get, once the school year started, to see what that looked like, what kind of revenue it brought, and kind of by category, so we knew who was renting the buildings. It's kind of both a budget and a facilities question, but I had it marked in my notes.
From a facility standpoint, they created a form. How the form is executed, where the money goes to the budget.
All right, then budget it is.
Facilities got everything off the list.
Yeah.
Remember, Jeff?
Yeah.
I remember
I was just, I could read the minutes back.
Something tells me parking's coming back, though.
Trying to help you out.
Yeah.
That's it. That. Financials. This.
For next year.
Oh, the 24.
I think we were going to use the revenue created by those rentals, hoping would go on a fund like the locks and be used to maintain those rented facilities, was the discussion we had last year, but I don't know where that landed at the end of the day.
Yes, Ellen.
I'm not sure if you want to tackle this or not, but we used to get an accounting of all the accounts that are at the high school.
I'm sorry, the student activity account?
Yes,
Yeah, you'll,
maybe a report on that.
Of
just to
course.
see, because we didn't get one at the end of last year.
I think we just have to split this up, because right now Scott's doing facilities and budget.
It doesn't have to be done next
I think we have to
next
just do
meeting,
that.
just keep
no,
it
no,
on.
we just so I'm clear, last year at some point, we gave the board something, right? Is that kind of what you're looking at for
Yeah,
again?
but we don't need
Sure.
it next meeting or the meeting
Well-
after, but just keep it on the radar that we'd like to look at it, because
Is
there's
that,
so many that aren't being used, and I know it was like cleaned up and such, so
Absolutely.
just.
Yep.
that's what I was gonna ask, that
We're-
same list, or where like
Yeah.
Southwest had to spend down, right? That
Or-
list.
Well, they do that every year, they give it,
Well, they had 5 years worth of funds in
Right.
their account, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah, we consolidated, we told them they needed to spend.
Yeah,
Like in
okay.
November, school in December, for
Yeah.
student activity.
No, I've been making sure that we're up to date on the student activities, they're not accumulating monies, and
and the
line
policy's being
items that-
followed,
yes,
that's where I'm coming from.
yes, and a few of the schools even asked, according to our processes, if, they're gonna roll X amount of money into the principal fund, and like they were supposed to, so.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll definitely have that at some point.
Right, it doesn't need to be next meeting, it's just
Shouldn't
on
be
the
a heavy
radar.
lift though, because I think we're pretty much reconciled up until last month.
Sounds pretty good of the order. Michael?
Great meeting. I appreciate the other items we're going to keep a close eye on, and we are going to monitor that over time as well. So as Scott said, we have meetings set up for that.
Thank you, all set?
Good meeting. Josh? Donna? Heather, equally great. Oh, good. Thanks. Jeff?
Great meeting, Sue. Way to bring it home tonight.
I know, well, look at that. How do you feel about that, John?
John's, I can't wait to hear John's comments to the good order. Yeah, this is.
Making a competition.
Great
Absolutely.
meeting, and again, thank you for
Yeah.
the reports, those are helpful.
I want to point out that Louis Sparrow.
Dr.
picture is on our
Sparrow.
wall. passed away during the summer. The obituary was just published in the local newspaper over the weekend, actually.
Yeah, I just saw it, Saturday, I think.
And he, and I was paying attention to the school system in those years because when kids were in school, and it was just such a pleasure to have a stable, productive school system. It's recognized, he did a good job.
He really did, he was one of the best. He'll be on the wall.
That's what I was. When I went to school with the Johns kids.
Yeah, same thing. Just as-
Yeah, it's my years, yeah.
Me too, meeting all my kids.
Meeting soon. We're gonna have good fun, John.
I remember when I was in school. It was super. Oh, thank you, Scott, thank you so much for everything.
Thank you.
Yeah, all the efforts that you've been doing. Everyone, thank you for everything that you're doing. I feel Scott's burning the
It's
candle.
a
at
team
both ends.
effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys are great.
People keep me
Jason, do you have
honest.
anything?
All set. Thanks for a good meeting. Nice and quick.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Adjourned at 7:43.
that's a
Thanks,
record.
Jason. That was quick.
That was a
Because we
record.
started.
Yeah, what do we, I think,
Are you hanging out with Ellen now?
I don't know.
Mine aren't usually quick, so.
Because
That
Ellen
was
and
20.
Right.
John, that's like they're coming for you,
Everybody
John.
just gets some
You're
fun.
breaking records.
Perhaps it's been my mentorship that has encouraged this.
John, did it say,
Keep it
how
going.
old?
Are we, Josh, are we off?
Say any before.